But there's also something to just the spectacle of Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje just going at it. I mean, like wild 5-round slugfest with no audience.
Do you think that fight would have been different if a crowd was there?
No.
No,
I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. It's possible. I think Justin had a game plan, and he executed it brilliantly. And I think Ferguson, I mean, he's always going to be Tony Ferguson. He's one of the toughest men that's ever walked the face of the earth. But I think he was preparing for a grappler. You know, he's preparing for Khabib Nurmagomedov, and that fight didn't take place. It was supposed to take place in April. So he had been training for Khabib. By the way, this is the 5th time that fight was canceled. The 5th time the fight with Tony and Khabib was canceled. So Tony's been training for Khabib for fucking years, right? So he's ready for this elite grappler, takes everybody down, smashes them. He's thinking of cutting them from the bottom. He's thinking of submitting them and scrambling and getting leg locks and all these different things that he's thinking of. And then he's fighting an all-American wrestler who does not want to go to the ground and who has nasty striking. So it's a totally different game plan, and he has to make an adjustment over a period of just a few weeks. And so Justin's fight Justin always fights the same way. So Justin's adjustments weren't nearly as big as Tony's. Tony had to make some big adjustments, but Justin just fought a masterpiece. The way he fought was just magnificent, and he listened to his coaches so well. There's a point during the fight where Trevor Whitman is telling him, you're hitting him too hard, you're swinging for the bleachers. He goes, just take about 10% off your punches, hit him with good, clean shots, and he immediately made that adjustment, and then his cardio leveled out because he was getting tired towards the end of the second, and because he was just throwing just bombs. Every shot he was trying to take Tony Ferguson's head off, but you can't knock Tony out with one shot. He's inhumanly tough. So Justin backs it off a little bit and just is throwing clean shots, and then winds up just dominating him, and then they stop it in the 5th round.
What's the one thing you learned? Like, was there something you took away from this experience that, like, you didn't take away from any other fight?
It was interesting. I felt very, very fortunate to be there. I'm like, out of all the people that could be here to watch one of the greatest fights of all time, I felt super fortunate that I was one of those people that got to be there. I felt like real fortunate for that. Like everything about it, I was like taking in the moment and just like really cherishing it. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like not a lot of people get to do this. Not a lot of people get to experience this. Not a lot of people get to do commentary for the UFC period, but to do commentary for championship fights in this arena where there's no one there. So we're in a 15,000 seat arena and there's maybe 10 people in the audience.
So why did it need an arena that big?
Yeah, we were talking about that. We're like, why can't we do this we could have done this in the hotel.
Yeah.
We could have got a conference room and set up an octagon in there. Like literally.
Yeah, I was wondering why they did that. But is it a spectacle of having a big arena just to say you did it?
I think there's something to that, to letting everybody know, hey, these are strange times. You know, we're in the middle of this health crisis, and so this is the response to this health crisis. We're going to do this shit in this arena.
And just a few months ago, he suffered just the most tragic loss anyone could ever imagine. But then he picked himself up, he went through a training camp, he did everything he had to do in order to prepare and return against Alistair Overeem. For you, what does it mean to be able to see him go from, the depths of despair to where he is now?
Yeah, anybody who has kids knows that that's your biggest fear and the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Win, lose, or draw on Saturday, it's already a win for him just to be here. So Saturday's a big night. That main event is not only big for both of those guys' careers, but just such a huge step forward for Walt Harris. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful thing to see that his daughter's motivating him to get to this point. But then he's going to stand across the octagon from Alistair Overeem, one of the all-time greats. In terms of the matchup itself, they're number 8 and number 9 in the heavyweight division. What are your expectations for this one that's scheduled for 25 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on where Walt really is, Even though he's here, he trained, he did whatever. Where is he mentally? Where is he emotionally? That has a lot to do with everything. Like I said, being here is a win. So we'll see how this whole thing unfolds on Saturday. That guy's battling more than Alistair Overeem on Saturday night.
Do you feel like it's also a tricky position for Overeem to be in?
Yeah. You saw the respect they had today when they squared off. if you're Alistair Overeem, and Alistair Overeem's a killer. You know, you want to go in and you want to win, and you want to win in spectacular fashion. It just sucks to do it against a guy like Walt right now.
Jon Jones comes out and said to Francis Ngannou, those haymakers don't work on me, send the contract. Now, there's a lot to unpack there. There really is, because the quote that I just gave you came out about 2 hours ago. But if I was to back up 72 hours ago, I could give you a different quote by Jon Jones where he said, look, I'll do the heavyweight thing, but give me a catch weight for my first time. Make it 220. Give me somebody in the middle. Let me test the waters. I understand he's never going to get that catch weight. I understand that's not going to happen when you have a champion like Jon Jones. If he's going to leave one championship, he's going to go fight for another championship. I understand those things, but I do think that Jon is still giving us a message. And the message is pretty clear, and it's also very fair, by the way. If you want me to go take this risk, a one that I don't want to take, I am doing this because I'm being asked to, let me test the waters one time. If that's where his mindset was, fast forward 3 small days, and all of a sudden, not only is he willing to go to heavyweight, against the scariest heavyweight out there, he's also willing to take on the largest man in the division. I mean, Ngannou just weighed in 4 days ago, and he weighed in at 261 with a limit of 265 plus 1. He's the limit. He's 5 pounds off the limit. He's the limit. You get it. He is the limit, not to mention the right way. So it's really tough to know what Jon wants by listening to Jon. It's really tough. Most fighters, it's pretty easy. You go listen to him. Okay, here's what he wants to do. Let's navigate within these confines, see what works for everybody. With Jon, it's very tough when on Sunday, he wants a 220-pounder, and come Thursday, he wants the biggest guy in the division. I got no problem with it. I'm just saying, there's not a whole lot of things that we can allow to hold up a Jon Jones fight, particularly Jon Jones' own opinion, because Jon Jones doesn't have an opinion. It just keeps changing. That's a hard fight for Ngannou. I will tell you right now, that's a hard fight for Ngannou. Ngannou has one way to win a fight. It's a very exciting way, and it's a very impressive, and I would even call it frightening as a compliment, a frightening style, which is to come out rah, 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 and knock everything down in his path like a tornado, look around and all the trees are down. Okay. That's one way to get your hand raised, for sure, but if you look at Jon Jones, come on, Jon Jones got every way to win a fight that there possibly is. Jon Jones can go 5 rounds, no problem. Done it plenty of times. Jon Jones can win by TKO. He'll stretch your arm out. He'll choke your neck. He'll knock you down. I mean, Jon Jones can win a fight every single possible way that there is. So when you're looking at that fight, it's pretty straightforward. If you're picking Ngannou, then you're saying Ngannou's going to knock out Jon Jones. Real simple. Jon Jones has never been knocked down, let alone knocked out. Now, you can counter that argument by saying, well, he's never fought anybody like Ngannou. You'd be 100% true. 100% correct. All I'm offering for you is that's a hard fight for Ngannou. If you think that Jon Jones is going up to take on Ngannou and he's just going to go get ran over, that's not what you're going to see. Particularly with the master of space that Jon is. I mean, Jon's very long. You have a lot of guys that are very long, but they don't know how to use their length. Talk about a reach advantage. Even if that comes down to the legs, which never does get discussed in the media, but that's a very real thing, particularly when you're talking about Jon. He's not only got this incredible wingspan, he's got incredible length in his legs. He'll kick you from across the ring. Hey, you ready? You ready? Boom, you just got kicked in the leg by Jon Jones. I mean, he will do these things. Jon will not just come out and think he has to shoot and take Ngannou down. Jon will go out and trade with Ngannou. That's just who he is. And he's great at protecting himself, and he's great at using that reach. I'm just offering for you, while I do not believe we're going to see that fight immediately, I do think that it's very real talk that Jon moves up to heavyweight at some point. I think it was more real talk 5 months ago when there was just nobody to fight in the 205-pound division that was interesting. If you're Jon, there's nobody that was interesting.
If you are a fighter or someone who wants to start training in MMA, listen up. My name is Phil DeRue. I am the head performance coach of American Top Team. I train some of the elite MMA athletes in the world, such as Dustin Poirier, King Mo the Wall, Frankie Edgar, Junior Dos Santos, Edson Barbosa, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Going to MMA gyms or hiring a personal trainer can get extremely expensive over time. So if you want to get in shape and train using the exact program of the top MMA fighters for an affordable one-time price, check out Fight Ready in the description below. Use code MMA Central to get 20% off your final purchase. I hope to see you on the inside.